the nuclear explosion, like entrepreneurial seizure moment went off. I was like, I knew it. This is it. Like, it's gonna work.
Hello and welcome to episode 129 of the Smart Agents Podcast. My name is Michael Walter and I'll be your host. In today's episode, we're joined by Rick Elmore, founder and CEO of Simply Noted. With our platform and first of its kind handwriting robot, Simply Noted is helping more than 300,000 monthly users stand out from the crowd by delivering eye-catching handwritten correspondence to past clients and new leads. As you'll hear from Rick, developing a handwriting robot wasn't exactly the plan after his playing days in the NFL came to an end. But after listening to a marketing lecture, he quickly learned the power that handwritten notes have on open rates and brand loyalty, which in the real estate industry is worth its weight in gold. Now, before we get on to the day's featured interview, make sure to subscribe to the Smart Agents Podcast. You can find the show on all major podcasting platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and now Amazon Music. Also, if you or someone else on your team has an awesome story or tip to share with our community, send us a message at feedback@smartagents.com. We're always on the lookout for new stories to share. All right, let's get on to the day's featured interview with Rick Elmore. If you want to check out Simply Noted for yourself, just go to simplynoted.com or click the link in the episode description. Yeah, so really the way I like to start everything out is if you could just introduce yourself to us a little bit, who you are and kind of what you do.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, first, thanks for having me on today, Michael. I really appreciate it. My name is Rick Elmore. I'm the founder and owner of a company called Simply Noted. What Simply Noted is, it's a handwritten notes platform, and we really help companies integrate, automate, or scale sending real, genuine handwritten notes. And the way that we do that is it's a pretty unique process. Simply Noted is the only company in the world that's actually built its own handwriting robot. Our handwriting robot's purposely built from the ground up to be the best handwriting solution in the world. We've worked on it for almost 2 years, and it's pretty remarkable what it can do. But yeah, I mean, that's just like a quick high level of who I am and what I do. But I can really dive into my background if that would help.
Yeah.
Kind of give you some more context.
Yeah, because obviously that's, getting into, the handwriting robot, there's something that's, it's probably not something that you just started out on right out of school or, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So just give you a little bit more context. My background's in athletics. I played, college and professional football. I went to the University of Arizona. I was lucky to have a pretty good career there. Was a 3-year starter for Mike Stoops, led the Pac-10 back then in multiple stat categories my junior and senior year. So was pretty fortunate, because a lot of things have to happen. Number one, you got to stay healthy, and it's pretty hard to stay healthy as a linebacker in the Pac-10. But yeah, I got to live out my childhood dream, played in the NFL for 3 years, but eventually got done, had to hang up the cleats, and I got into corporate medical sales and marketing. I worked for a company called Stryker. It's one of the largest medical companies in the world. First year I was rookie of the year. The next 5 years, I was either like top 1% in the company or top 5 sales rep, doing what we were doing. And I really just applied what I was good at as an athlete into being a sales rep. And then after about almost 6 years, I had an itch and I went back and did my MBA. About a year into my program, I had a marketing professor talking about the success rates in marketing. And everything was super nominal, super low, like single digits, low double digits, like 3%, 8%, 12%. And after listening to this 3-hour long lecture, our brains are just completely just numbed over of listening to all these stats and going over all these studies and case studies. The professor said something so profound, which could have been probably more, I wish he would have said it a lot sooner. But he said, hey, guys, what works better than ever, especially today, is a good old-fashioned handwritten note. It has a 99% open rate, a 300% engagement rate. It's extremely rare. Nobody gets them anymore. And it's just truly a way to be a difference maker and stand out in today's business world. And I just thought that was an absolute no-brainer. I was in medical sales. I had 400 clients. It took me and my wife 2 weeks of sitting down just to send out printed holiday cards. Like, it took us 2 weeks just to write we stamped the return address, we hand wrote the address, and it took us 2 weeks with 2 people just to insert. It was a nightmare. We only did it one year. It took us so much time, and especially after we had kids, we just had no time. But I just thought it was such a good idea. And I started researching. There really wasn't anybody doing it. And I was like, man, if there's a way to scale this or automate it, there's a real business like opportunity here. So what I did is I worked with a mailing house here locally in Phoenix, Arizona. I flew some like old terrible technology in from China. It was a pen plotter. It took me about a month, but I got a list offline from like a free list service of clients like in my territory. I had territory in New Mexico and Arizona of people I didn't work with. And I sent out a handwritten note. It took me about a month of like literally like trying to figure out this really bad software, have it write one, replace it with a hand, hit a button, have it write another one. When I was gone, I'd have my stepdad do it, like because I was working. So I mean, this thing was like writing for like ever. And we sent out these 500 handwritten notes, and the response rate was just amazing. Um, Everyone, if you're in sales and if your clients are calling you like when they're ready to buy, that's amazing. Like that just never
Right.
happens. It's so rare. And these doctors, and it's a very aggressive, like, it's a very competitive industry. What I was doing, there's just so many different options. We were all selling the same thing. And these doctors would call me back and they're just like, "Hey, Rick, like, first off, like, thanks for sending me this handwritten note. Like, this is cool. Like, nobody does this anymore." So, like, automatically I was starting out like on their good side, right? Like their first impression of me was like, "Hey, this guy's different, right? This guy did something unique." And at least their perception was I gave them my time to sit down and write them something, right? So they're like, "Hey, Rick, like, this is cool. Thank you so much for doing this. But like, hey, this sounds good. Like, let's set up a lunch and talk about it." My quota at the time was it was about $50,000 a month, and in just over a month, I sold $280,000 in new client, like new sales. Got 28 grand in commission. I was just like the nuclear explosion, like entrepreneurial seizure moment went off. I was like, I knew it. This is it. Like it's gonna work. And little did I know how hard this business would be to build. But I'm pretty proud of it over the last 5 years. We've built the world's, we spent a lot of money investing into this robot, but the robot really is something else. It's amazing. We had 380,000 users on our platform in December 2022. With no loans, no debt, no investors, completely customer funded. And I'm just really excited because I really do think, handwritten notes, especially in the digital/AI eras that we're living in, are just profound, amazing business tools because people really do crave that personal connection.
Right. So backing up, when you and your wife were writing all those handwritten notes, what was that? What was your response rate with that when you did all that work?
You know what? It wasn't really a response because it was just a Christmas card, but I do remember when I would go into those clients like the following year, they would like thank me for sending it. But I literally, it wasn't a pen written note inside. It was just like literally a handwritten envelope with a Christmas card. But I
Gotcha.
do remember, a lot of the clients did like thank me for sending it. So and I think, holiday cards are a great business tool as well because you're getting shelf space like in their house with a
Mhm.
long shelf life, like 4 to 6 weeks, right? So you're getting some type of shelf life that nothing else is going to get. And it's really funny
Right.
because we've been doing this for 5 years and like we do lose business to clients who like, well, let's just send a digital card. I'm just like I literally want to peel my skin off my face. I'm like, you literally know they're probably not even gonna open that. Like, and if
Right.
they do, they're gonna see it for a half a second and they're not gonna see it again. Like pay the $1.50 or $2, right? And get 6 weeks of being in their house, right? You're gonna impress them, it's gonna impact them differently. But yeah, like yeah. So I just feel like they appreciate it, on a different level versus other mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, even just, I think yesterday I opened up the mailbox and I had like three postcards.
Hmm.
It's the same thing. And I honestly, I didn't look at any of them. They
Hmm.
just went right in the trash because it had the same, logo, picture of a house and a person's face on it. That was about it. But I know that I open every letter that comes in the mail that has that personal look to it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just, if it has a real stamp, there are case studies done out there and you can just Google this. It's all over online. Multiple industries have done this, but when you're comparing like a digital printed type of handwritten envelope versus at least a handwritten looking envelope with a real stamp, the open rate is just it's 3 times more. So if you are doing these postcards, like you just said, like the open rate on average is like 32, 33%. So like literally take the $7 out of $10 and just light it on fire. Like that's what you're doing. You're literally just throwing it away and hoping that 30% does something, right? And I get it. Like there's a different way to do everything. Like there's a time and place to send a handwritten card. There's a time and place to do direct mail, print mail, email marketing, cold calling. There's a time and place for everything. I tell people we're just an extra tool in the belt. Like you still got to do everything else, right? And I mean, I've been growing this business for 5 years, and I mean, we use everything. We do SEO, we do outbound, like pay per click, social. I mean, we do it all. But I mean, we are steadfast in using handwritten notes. It's still one of our best marketing tools. It gets a high open rate. We always like in the card saying, "P.S. This is written by a robot," and that's always the hook, when they're like, "Oh, no way!" Like gets them interested in learning more. So yeah, I think handwritten notes is a cool tool. We're just trying to make it an easy way for people to use it.
Right. So when you bought this technology and brought it over and we're doing it for the first time and like pulling your hair out trying to figure this thing out, what were some of the things that you saw that you wanted to put into the robot that you've now developed to make this a better process just for you guys in general?
Yeah. Well, I never ever thought in a million years that we would have to build our own handwriting robot. My background is in sales, marketing, and being an athlete. I have no software technical background, no electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, no web development background. And if I knew everything I would have had to do 5 years ago, I mean, ignorance is bliss sometimes. It really, I mean, I feel like I have 100 years of experience in this 5 years versus, doing a 40-year career. Doing something else. So, the pen plotter, it was just to get started. I thought it was going to work because, I mean, there are a few other companies. We're not the only people doing what we're doing. We try really hard and reinvest a lot of money to try to be the best at what we're doing. But, there's different options. Some people like iPhone, some people like Samsung, some people are Chevy, some people are Ford, right? But we just really make it a huge point to reinvest to try to keep us at least at the top. But the pen plotter is not a good solution. We were forced to create our own handwriting robot. There's just a lot of scaling issues, a lot of writing quality issues. These pen plotters, they use restricted old like handwriting engines or softwares. They're basically plugins to like open source code softwares that were not meant to do this like in a large form scale way. A lot of these pen plotters have to operate one computer per robot. They're not auto fed. They have no paper feed. There's just a lot of patterns in the way that they write. And if you're trying to sell, a $2 or $3 note, in 5,000, 10,000 at a time, like some of these clients that we work with, they're working with clients that are worth $10,000 or $50,000. They don't want to get caught sending a fake handwritten note. And the only way to really make this the best, the only option we had to do was to build our own handwriting robot because it gave us full control of everything. The way it loads, the load capacity, the handwriting engine, the software on our computer. We even create our own pens. Like we even create our own pens because if you write, I don't know if you've ever written, nobody writes anymore, but the more you write, like the ink sometimes streaks because if it sits for a while, or if it's just not a good pen, that turns into a quality control nightmare. Plus, we write hundreds and thousands of these a day. So, the pens run out a lot. So, we had to create a pen that had more capacity. We can control the pen ink and the viscosity. Viscosity is the wettability of the ink, the type of ink that goes in the pen. So we've completely overthought this. And again, there are other people that do something like this, but we just obsess about our technology, our product, our online reputation, because we try to be an extension of your business and try to give you the best product possible.
Right. When you are working with a client and they've, letters have gone out, what is some of the reaction that you've gotten from your clients? Like, man, this is incredible. It looks like, somebody is sitting there writing this for me.
Yeah. Well, what's really exciting is, the clients that use this regularly are the ones that just use this for like thank you cards. What we do is like integrate and automate, like after a new client signs up or somebody books a meeting and completes a meeting, we help automate those thank you cards. And those clients will call us back and they'll just say like, hey man, like our close rates increased, or hey, these people like send us pictures of the notes you're sending. It kind of creates like more of like a viral effect. Sometimes like they'll post it online. So we really do believe in like the just using this as like a thank you, gratitude relationship building tool, because the loyalty that comes from that relationship's worth its weight in gold. The economics of loyalty is really impressive. If you can just get one person to refer three of their friends, like your year over year sales is just going to skyrocket. If you just can increase loyalty, like 80% of clients or your customers don't feel loyal to your brand. They actually feel underappreciated. And half of them will try someone else just because. So like your attrition rate on your client base is through the roof and you don't even realize it. And we all suffer from it because we live in a digital era where we're just constantly being pulled from everybody. Even our clients want things done immediately because we live in the era of like instant gratification. If you think about it, we grew up in the era we had to watch commercials, right? There was no skip a commercial. We didn't have Amazon, right? Like I didn't have a cell phone until I was 16. Like if I needed to call somebody, I had to go find a phone, right? Like, so now we live in this era where it's just like me, instant gratification, right? Everybody's like so like what do you call it? So distracted all the time. And the loyalty is not there. So we think it's a great relationship building tool. But I mean, we have a lot of our clients that use this for, outreach marketing because it works. It's different. It's something that nobody else is doing.
Right. And you kind of touched on it a moment ago about, just how much it costs you when you're these customer base, when you're losing these past clients and you're not bringing them back. And for a real estate agent, I mean, the way to scale your business is through that past client and referral sales. And, you've got to keep that line of communication open with those folks to, stay really top of mind with them.
Yep. And you're 75% more successful in closing a referral versus a new website lead. We live in a world that people, they don't talk about that type of stuff. They talk about like all these outbound growth marketing, like they don't talk about relationship. They don't talk about referrals. Some of like the smaller industries do, but like all these big companies, our product sells itself. Like, clients just come to us, we have the best whatever. And it's just a weird world that we're living in. So we feel, especially in the early, 2020 to like 2020 or 2000 to 2020 was all digital, all Web 2, go to social media, right? We got really digital there. Now we're in the AI revolution in the 2022 and on. It's just, all these companies, there's a lot of you, if you're paying attention to like the venture like type of backed companies, private equity, where these companies are making a lot of investments right now. They're in the service-based industries. They're in the tangible touch, like client connect type of companies, because those jobs, aren't gonna go. The jobs that are gonna go away here in the next 10 years are jobs that can be automated. And a lot, it's sad, but a lot of relationships really can't be automated. They can't, because that takes a human to human connection, right? So if you look at companies like, Sendoso, Alice, Lob, these direct type of mail companies that are sending like really thoughtful gifts to the clients to help increase relationships, that's not going to go away. You're going to see an uptick in that. Companies like Simply Noted, where you're going to kind of get away from the digitalness and go back to the personal connection. Or even like I have a lot of friends in the service-based industries. I have a friend here locally in Phoenix. He owns one of the largest home service companies in the United States, and they just got bought out by private equity because like it's going to take 50 years for a robot or AI to build a house, like, maybe I'll 3D print a house, but like those types of industries are going to boom, because what's going to happen when the economy goes away from customer service being automated, even a lot of sales will be automated. Like these relationship-based type of industries are going to boom here in 10 years. It's because, that human-to-human connection, it matters.
Right. I was actually talking with one of the he is a recruiter from a really large real estate brokerage here in the States, and he was talking about a lot of the training that he is really focusing on now is that going back to the human connections and kind of getting away from all the automated. Like people want that human connection again.
Yeah, if you think about it, like I don't know how old you are. I think we're around the same age, but like in the 80s and 90s, business was relationships. It was have lunch with the client, dinner with a client, network with a client, right? But you couldn't just pick up the phone and text somebody, right?
Right.
Like that's how business was done. And we got away from that. We got away from it because of all the digital and the technology. And I think technology is going to overtake a lot of these busy tasks that, we
Mm-hmm.
don't just need to do anymore. And we're going to get back to that like face-to-face type of stuff because we luckily we live in a world where there aren't monopolies and competition's a good thing. So there's still going to be
Right.
opportunities for us to go out there and build relationships and build businesses that can thrive, because people are in business and business is a
Yeah.
people focused type of, you know, endeavor or job. So I really do
Right.
think relationships are going to extremely matter in business going
Right.
forward from here on out.
Right. And the cool thing, especially, with companies like yourself, but we're getting to where really there's the technology and the things to kind of help automate some of the processes for, creating those human connections is really, is starting to come around and be more adopted now, I feel like.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, that's the thing that, when I first got started running this business, I used to have a developer code everything for me. Because there just wasn't a lot of tools that were easy to use. But, fast forward to now in 2023, there's so many no code automation tools that are so easy to use. You can jump on YouTube and learn how to, automate email, automate busy tasks within your business, automate billing. A lot of these things that you used to have somebody on payroll to do. And like now they're like $99 a month, like no code tools. So, YouTube University is a real thing. If you're not using it and you're
Mhm.
not listening to podcasts and following people who are more successful than you, or doing something at a high level that you want to be doing, you're missing out because we are an amazing time. Innovation and growth of technology in today's day and era is something that it's never been in the history of our world, and it's really easy for somebody to come in and find success if they know how to leverage the right technologies. You just got to know what's out there and how it can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think of just about anything. Anytime I need to fix something on my truck or I'm doing some video editing and
Hmm.
there's like one little thing I'm not quite sure where to find it in the program, you just pop that into YouTube real fast and boom, you're a
Hmm.
whole feed full of videos on how to do it. And it is really
Yeah.
cool because I know uh, back when we were kids that didn't exist. You
Mm-mm.
had to kind of try to figure it out
We
or
were
find
playing
somebody new.
outside. You went to the
Yeah,
library.
exactly.
I remember doing a book report and going to the library in seventh grade.
Oh yeah.
It's like you have to go there and look at books and like, go to the glossary, go in there and yeah, no.
No, no. Now the kids, my son, he doesn't even like write a book report. He puts together like a PowerPoint presentation with video and all kinds of stuff. But
Yeah, you
when
don't
it
even need to
comes
do that
to
anymore. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry.
right, no, no, no. So for your clients, how does it work? How do people, kind of get their list, set up with you to where they can start sending out these handwritten letters?
Yeah. So the way that we usually help like 95% of our business, they either automated, they just do bulk sends. We do have a website that anybody can go and just send one card. That's usually what a lot of people do just to kind of test this out and feel it, get a good feel for it before they jump into something else. But you can just go to simplynoted.com and literally select a card, type your message, select your handwriting style, insert that person's address, and just check out. It's really that easy. But the real power, because I mean, people don't have time. The real power is to integrate, automate, and scale. So if it's like a couple times a year, you just want to hit up like your client list, you just literally load a spreadsheet, and it's really you can send 500, 5,000 completely custom personalized notes. It's just like mail merge or variable date or variable data printing. It's like, hi, first name, right? Every card's completely custom. You add in the first name. If you're, we have a lot of real estate investors that use us just to like off market property, like finding off market deals. Like they'll be like, hi, first name, we're interested in buying your house at address, right? So that could be a really powerful tool because it was really hot like in 2019, 2020, kind of 2021, but you know how the markets kind of got crazy in the last year.
Right.
But yeah, we just make it really easy for you to create genuine, scalable or automated communication at scale. And it's all pen written, it's all real. What we usually do is, we really try to encourage people to go to our website and just request a sample kit. We spend about $20 on this really nice 10 by 13 sample kit to send you before try it before you buy it type of thing, look at it. Because what happens is when people see these in real life and like we get it in their hands, that's when the light bulb moment goes off. They're like, holy crap, like this is real, this is really cool, this looks awesome. Then they call us and they're like, hey, I have this project in mind, can you help me? And that's like really where the consultative nature of our business comes into play. Like, hey, like I want to do this list, we help them find a list, right? Or hey, I want to do this, and then they want to do an insert. So it really just comes down to that. Get it in your hands, look at it, think about it, give us a call, and we kind of help you set it up the way that you need it done.
Right. And you mentioned earlier, you can go on there and pick your handwriting style as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. We have around 30 on our website. We have 900. We have like a PDF guide of like 900 handwriting styles, but I always kind of explain it to like the in and out menu. You don't want to be like the Cheesecake Factory and have like 800 items on your menu. It becomes analysis paralysis, right? Just become good at a few things, right? Like here's some really nice handwriting styles. Don't glaze over it. Don't make it hard. Just pick one, right? And just, make it easy as possible.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, that really does with all those options, you really, I mean, you can find your own handwriting style. And it really, if you did used to send out, if you were sitting at your coffee table or your dining room table for 2 weeks, filling out these cards before, you can find something that matches that to where people are going to say, oh yeah, that's that's awesome. That's really cool. It's really cool. All the different technology and the things that are out there to, kind of help people form those, those more personal connections again.
Yeah, there's tons of tools. I mean, there's cool video automation tools, cool texting tools, right? Was it Elon Musk? He teaches how to build an engine and he lays out all the tools, and he won't tell you like how to build it or tell you what the tools are. He'll show you like as you're building it what the tool is used for, so you understand what the tool is. It's like a Phillips head screwdriver. Like to a kid, it's like it's just something, right? But if you could show them it being used and why it's being used, right? It's really up to you to figure out how to use that tool. So you just got to get curious. Again, you got to watch YouTube videos, listen to podcasts, follow people that are more successful and, are later in their careers, all these things, right? They wouldn't be where they're at if they didn't get all this stuff figured out. So you just got to get curious, got to learn how to ask the right questions. And then once you do, find those tools and how to implement them and use them because they're there for a reason. They're there to help you.
Right. So we're right at the beginning of 2023. What's this year, like what's kind of the future looking for Simply Noted? What are the big, things you guys are looking to do?
You know what? So we are completely customer funded. We're the only player in our space that's actually doing this full time or fully dedicated to it that is not funded. So it's extremely challenging. And we are the only player that's actually truly built their own handwriting robot. We've really focused on the last almost 5 years at building a platform, building an audience, kind of carving out our niche, and then our handwriting technology. The next huge step for us is building our web app and all the integrations, like really deep enterprise level integrations. Right now, we really just automate based off of Zapier and API integration, or just like a birthday automation tool on our website. But really the future is just scaling. We've worked really hard to build up our base of business. We're really lucky to work with the clients that we work with. They're great partners. They understand the value of our service and we're really thankful for them. But it's really just about scaling. But I really do think like Simply Noted has like a mid to high 8-figure, potentially 9-figure potential. But to get there, we're going to have some partner come in and help accelerate it. It's really hard to, when you need to buy a 30,000 square foot building or, have 100 people on payroll, to do it with zero funding. And that's what we've done. But I'm extremely proud of that. I wanted to do it like that, prove that, there was a niche and a need for this product. And not, and it's not necessarily saying if you get funding, it's easy. This is more difficult in another way. But I just wanted to prove, that we could do this without funding, and we've done that.
Awesome. I know it's really cool, and congratulations on where you're at so far. I mean, it's from buying and bringing over the pen plotter to what you're at. It's a pretty cool trajectory you're going on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm extremely passionate about it. Sometimes I'm in here at still 11 and 12 o'clock at night, when we're busy, and it's just really cool to see all these pen wielding robots just writing 24/7. And then you look at it, like after it gets done, you're like, yeah, that looks really good. So it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
I want to thank Rick for joining us today and really am a big believer in the power of the handwritten letter. Remember, if you would like more information on Simply Noted, just go to simplynoted.com or click the link in the episode description. So once again, if you think you or someone else on your team has an incredible story or tip to share with our community, send us a message at feedback@smartagents.com. Well, that wraps things up for this episode, but remember, follow the show wherever you listen to podcasts and make sure to subscribe to the Smart Agents YouTube channel. Again, I'm Michael Walter, and we'll see you on the next episode.